Good morning and welcome to the Black Man Spy U.S.-Iran Warcast. Malcolm, why were you late? Because we're celebrating by our count, which, by the way, I believe started before the war. By our count, we at Black Man Spy are at day 100. And right now, we took 8 extra minutes to start the show. I'll tell you the truth. What happened was Substack changed the time to 2100, not 9 a.m. I put 0900. Sometimes it will keep the PM instead of the AM. I use 24-hour clock, so I said 21. I would say 2100. 0900 is 9 a.m. So we are here 10 minutes late, but on a great day. That gives us an opportunity to go get an extra coffee, to relax. We're waiting for Jacob to come up any second now. And we can all enjoy what I'm sure is going to be just a fabulous 100 day. Here's the kicker. By Trump's count, it's still 2 days away. Today's like day 98. But it doesn't matter. We are 3 months over 100 days into this war. Don't forget, the U.S. military operation for this war began a week to 2 weeks in advance, and some of the warships were sent a month in advance. So it is way past day 100 for the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Marine Corps and the other resources that were stationed in advance, like the Special Operations Forces, the Rescue Forces. These guys are pushing 120, in some cases 150 days since they were sent off to this war. So 100
Did you
days
see
is
what
like a
happened to
vacation.
USS General Ford?
What's the question?
Did you see what happened to USS General Ford in the last
Well, I know the
uh
video came out about the fire on board.
I thought that was
Us.
a new video.
No. That's somebody finally got the Gerald Ford finally got into port, and somebody dropped that video to CNN about the results of the fire in the Gerald Ford's laundry.
That makes sense.
Which let me tell you something. We are very, very good about checking the lint on the laundry. They were they were out at sea a whole year. 6 months past where they were supposed to go. And I think when this is all said and done, they're going to find out that that was arson. That somebody was like, "Oh, I'll get our happy ass back. I'll start a fire." Right? And when all the laundry machines and all the dryers are destroyed in the enlisted area berthing, they're not going to be sending stuff out for dry cleaning. Okay? And the worst thing that they hate more than lint in a laundry is they hate having laundry hanging on cords. Okay? So they're not going to be having any of that. So that's why the video of the Gerald Ford has come out now. The damage was far more extensive, just incredible amounts of damage. I believe they had over 100 people were injured due to smoke inhalation from that fire, fighting that fire. On an aircraft carrier, something like that goes from, a small laundry fire to a conflagration very quickly. Also, ships full of fuel, ships full of bombs, ships full of all sorts of horrible things. So, wow. With that, well, let's go ahead and start our day. What kind of coffee mug are you rocking there, Wajeeh?
Yeah, just another hand painted.
I'm being very dainty today. As a matter of fact,
Let me see it.
I have my Alessi coffee thermos here from Italy that
Okay.
I got when I was living in Italy, and I have these dainty little Alessi mugs, coffee cups, because you know what? I need my espresso this morning in shots, like shots of whiskey, because while we're waiting for what could be a ceasefire, couldn't be a ceasefire, maybe it's a ceasefire, nothing's going on except the war is going on. So That being said, I hope Jacob has better things to do, most likely. For those of you who are here, somebody said I should be 15 minutes early for watch. That is correct, right? On time is 15 minutes in advance. Um, if you go to the Substack chat, there is a chat at US Iran Warcast Day 100, triple exclamation points. Because for us, it is day 100. We have been at this 100 days. I adjusted the clock twice, okay? So I know this one is real. For the Trump administration, based off of their clock, they were talking, oh, well, it occurred on Saturday, the 28th of February. Local time was Friday night, our time, 11 p.m. our time or towards midnight our time. So I'm counting off of that clock, the clock from when the bombs actually struck, which was midday on February 28th. Maybe we're missing some. I don't care. It's day 100 for us because it's going to be day 100 for everybody very shortly. Oh, how you doing, Wajeeh? How's your health?
I'm
We are
good,
just
Rick.
100 people away from starting the actual show, so.
I'm officially out the sling. When you were bringing up Italy, for some reason, my head went to the Pope. Uh, I don't know why, but we have the Knicks going for a game, and there's this guy going to the Pope and screaming at him, "Would you like like bless the Knicks so they could win?"
Yeah, well,
I thought that
that's
was hilarious.
well, it is hilarious. Hey, speaking of hilarious, we're going to get into some of the things that were said today. We do have all three segments today. We're still missing significant penetrations, but in terms of just absolute stupidity and in dumb things that the president has said, we're back to that section, right? Are you fucking kidding me? Right? AFYKM. Um, is it back to having that section of the show? All right, with that, can we let's take a look at oil?
Yeah, you got it. I got you right here.
You know, my friend Zerlina Maxwell used to be a host on MSNBC. Um, is living the life I want. She moved to Sicily last year after Trump was elected. So she's sending back videos of a luxurious Italian lifestyle. Drives me crazy every day. Okay. WTI crude is down $92.31. Still $5 up from where it dropped to last week. Brent North
Yeah.
Sea crude 94.52 down 51 cents. This shows me that there's I think people are being a little cautious. It dropped off a couple of dollars, but people are still cautious. It's still in the 90s. Things could get very bad. And we are seeing many more experts talk about the coming oil shock due to an actual shortage of material of oil in the pipelines. So thank you, Waja. That's
Yeah,
good.
you got it.
I did read an analysis yesterday by Anas Al-Hajj, political analyst, who says um, based on everything they're hearing, oil is physically selling between $130 and $170 a barrel when it arrives at its destinations in Asia. Remember how
Wow.
we talk about there's futures oil,
Hmm.
which is the promise of oil that you might get someday. All right, Fiona from Derbyshire's here again. And place I had the coldest winter I've ever sat in. Darby. And then you have real physical oil that is in barrels in front of you. Those are selling at $130 to $170 a barrel. And don't forget, Trump thinks it should be $200 a barrel. All right. Paper oil, as somebody just wrote, does not actually work. Oh, what do you say, boss?
I I said this that the prices of oil will reach a $200 mark at some point at the beginning of the war if this continues to keep going. Again, there is a huge difference between trading in future prices and buying at the spot price right now. there is a huge shortage in the global economy when it comes to the oil. In fact,
Mhm.
most countries have a week left of uh, reserves
Oy.
and their which is not looking good, including the United States. You have countries. The only country that has prepared for something like this is China, that has billions of oils, barrels
Reserve.
of oils, and reserves. So when I'm looking at this, I see that the United States, one of my Saudi friends, I was talking to one of my security guys in the Saudi government yesterday, and he was telling me, "Oh, Trump is telling us he's selling so much oil. You guys must be rich." And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, we may have you lose $1 trillion or $2 trillion of market cap, and they're like, "You must be rich." No. Ay, ay, ay.
The
Yeah,
same
like somebody
thing
said.
we used to tell the Saudis. Oh, you must be rich now. Your government be selling oil. They're like, oh no, that's just the government. We have nothing to do with this.
That's right. Average person ain't getting nothing. Well, let's move on to significant activities. As you see, I have the Strait of Hormuz behind me. We have here, this is the northern Indian Ocean. You have all the main geographic points. If I zoom out a little, you can see United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, Dubai. This area up here is the Musandam Peninsula. That's the Strait of Hormuz. This down here is Corfacan, Fujairah, and down here is Soha. Here is the capital of Muscat, Oman. Below Muscat, there is a small port called Mina al Fahal, you know, or Mina al Fahal. All right. Mina al Fahal is a very small oil refinery and a bunkering facility. Don't forget, bunkering means where you store your oil. Well, I don't know what's going on with the negotiations with the Iranians, but the Iranians decided that they needed to place a little pressure on the Omanis. And right here, if you can see in this image, you can see the round white structures in here. Those are oil storage bunkers. Whoops, where am I at? Oil storage bunkers. This is where they store the oil. Up here's where they refine and pump and put oil onto ships, which go out into the port, right? This entire complex is the Min Al Fahal oil complex south of Muscat. Iran struck it last night with a Shaheed drone, just one, enough to cause a fire at this facility and to stop pumping operations into ships. Now, we may find out at some future date that maybe they were putting refined products like diesel or kerosene and was selling it to the U.S. Navy, because normally the Omanis, they tend to leave the Omanis alone unless something extreme is going on. So that being that, they were attacked by Iran last night. Or let me rephrase that. Someone's drone flew in and hit the refinery, right? Hit the oil facility. They don't know who it is. It's just a big triangular shaped drone that was
Mhm.
flew across the Persian Gulf into Oman, right? So that's what they're saying on that Persian Gulf front. There has been no action between the Iranians and the U.S. Navy, even though somebody put out a video of an attack on a U.S. Navy ship, the Truxton and the Mason, that is 1 month old. Do not believe everything you see on the internet. Okay. Okay, Saudi Arabia, they say that their Akak Yanbu pipeline, which goes all the way, I'll show you that, goes all the way from eastern Saudi Arabia to western Saudi Arabia, which is right. If you see Bahrain here, I can't give you a pointer, so I'm going to show it to you on this right there. That is Jubail, Saudi Arabia, and or Dammam, Saudi Arabia is a bigger facility. And all the way across the country, from east to west, is the Akaiq Yanbu pipeline. This spot on the Red Sea is Yanbu, significantly farther north than where the Houthis are, right? That's Yanbu. And then as you go up, you go straight
Suez
to
Canal.
the Suez Canal. And there's a regional image if you need that, right? There's the Red Sea right there. I have to do everything backwards, so I'm a little awkward. Here's the Saudi Peninsula. Their pipeline, which is a bypass for the Strait of Hormuz, is now back to full capacity. I didn't realize that it had gone down a little bit. It was attacked a month ago or more than a month ago. The Saudis say that this thing's at full capacity, 7 million barrels per day is being shipped through there. There you are. Thank you. I actually could show that version, right? The general map version, but I'm too lazy. Um, Here, look, see, I'm not that lazy. I just found out where it is. Uh, there you go. I'm just like you now. I'm a big boy. So that is where the bypass is going. The Omanis were a bypass, and now the Emiratis are building a second pipeline to bypass the Strait of Hormuz also for future operations. Next, the United Kingdom and France have come to an agreement on a post war demining operation, which will go through the Strait of Hormuz. And when the war is officially over, not when Donald Trump says it's over, when the all forces have withdrawn from the region, they will have an international demining coalition that will bring French warships, British demining ships and systems, and other NATO countries or European Union countries that have extensive demining. The EU has 88 minesweepers. They could
Way more
even
than the
bring
United States.
they could even bring the 4 Ukrainian minesweepers that are in England down there. That would, because the United States ain't got our capability sucks. I'm sorry. It
Well,
does.
ap-
You,
apparently the cleanup crew has already been created, but the cleanup crew is useless in an active war zone.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the agreement is that they will wait until this war is over. That is what the agreement between Iran, or not Iran, but the French, the British, and the other people who, when it ends, they will take an assessment of how many ships will come there. They will then steam, probably assemble off of Cyprus, and then make their way down the Suez Canal, and then make their way through the Bab el Mandab waterway where they can practice, right, from the Houthis, and then go over to the Eastern Persian Gulf. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to give you a better view of that. The Eastern Persian Gulf, and likely because the British are there, they will stop in Muscat, Oman, and then assemble up at Khor Fakkan, and then start doing sweeping from the Eastern Strait of Hormuz into the Eastern Strait of Hormuz into the Western Strait of Hormuz. And they will clear the mines. That will take some time. The U.S. Navy assess that if the war were to stop today with its very limited capability, it would still take 6 months to 100% guarantee the channels are clear. So that's where we are with that. All right.
Regarding those
Oh,
channels, did you hear anything about Mina explosions in Oman that
did you not?
happened within?
Voila. Did you not hear me?
o-
Were you
Okay,
sleeping?
so
أنت
they
نائم؟
did
نائم
they did
نائم
suspend
ولا
the
أنا شوف
so you know they
أنا
okay, never
بحط
mind.
الدقة على المكان. Dick, my indicator, my finger was right on it. We started the show with Mina Al Fahel being struck. I
Okay, that's
showed
what
you
we
an
were
image of it.
talking.
Shoof, look up when I talk.
I'm having my
I'm like
own.
a teacher now, right? I'm like a teacher with a naughty child. All right.
Uh,
It
I'm
was the
sorry.
first story. Yes, it was struck. I was quite surprised you didn't say anything. So
Well,
next,
then the next thing would be the Omani Tehran joint control of the Strait of Hormuz.
we can talk about that, but we have one last thing in the Persian Gulf to talk about. And that
Okay.
is the U.S. Navy boarded the motor vessel Davina, not in the Indian Ocean. They boarded it over here,
Oh my God.
south of Sri Lanka, in the eastern Indian Ocean, technically Bay of Bengal. Down here, it was not a U.S. Navy vessel from Fifth Fleet. It was a U.S. Navy vessel from the Pacific Command, because that is way the hell out. And they apparently were waiting for this vessel. This vessel was a sanctions breaker. They did a right to visit, board, and search and seizure. We do not know yet if they took control of it, but it is full of like 1 million barrels of oil that came from Karg Island on March 20th and apparently got past the blockade, which is why
This is
we are
not the
picking it
first
up.
time we do this in that region during this war.
Somebody's busting my chops for being late. In fact, Brandy Dawn, I was not late. The system was scheduled wrong. It scheduled me for 9 p.m. So technically, I'm 12 hours early by starting the show. They say 30 minutes is early, 15 minutes is on time, and the top of the hour is late. So I'm at least 11 hours and 30 minutes early. Okay. It says gave you heart palpitations. Come on, y'all. I know you love me, but that's a lot. That being said, do you have okay, now let's talk about lead the way on the Oman Iran talks about multipass.
Yes. So Oman and Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Garachi declared that Iran and Oman will jointly manage the Strait of Hormuz in accordance with international law. Abbas stressed that while Tehran will consult Gulf neighbors, absolute administration authority over the strait choke point will be exclusively with Iran and Oman. This move attempt to, of course, bypass the United States naval blockade and institutionalize a regional maritime framework outside the Washington oversight, allowing Iran to drop the dollar bills.
Dallas, holla, dollar, baby. This is what all you said while you were talking. All I heard was the ABBA song. Money, money, money. That's all I heard. That's all. And this is all the Omanis are hearing. Right? Yeah, somebody's going, watch, look up because you're
Look up.
talking. I'm like, somebody's showing off my sanctioned oil sales money. That's right. That's right. No, that is my stripper money. Okay. By the way, I never carry cash. Never carry cash. I just have one guy in New York who's a handyman, and he only takes cash. I never carry cash. Here's how bad my wallet is. I have 5 British pounds in it. Okay, because that's tip money from the hotel. So that's all I carry it for. But now I have another reason to carry it because the Omani Iranian stripper fund apparently needs to be filled. And the Omanis, I guess Oman might have balked at it, and the Iranians fired a drone at him, sort of like pimp slapping a hoe. But this is that's all they're talking about, people, when they talk about the Omani Iranian Persian Gulf Straits Authority. $80 billion is potentially Oman's share
Yeah,
of this agreement.
that
Wow.
billion, not million. B.
With a billion. I'm going to go check it out. I think that could be the top income of Oman should it happen. I think it
Wow.
will be
Their military is only like 30,000 soldiers. You know, they're a very small country. They don't
30,000.
have the
That's just the
30,
royal.
the 60,000 soldiers is all of the military guards.
Yeah, they are saying it's oil and gas is the largest. Let's see how much they make out of oil and gas. It'll be some stupid number like 3 billion. you know, because
Yeah, who
Oman,
knows?
it has oil and gas, but I'm almost certain that Oman's economy does not exceed what it could make selling access to the Strait of Hormuz, which is $80 billion is insane money. That's where you will just change your policy. And right now it looks like Oman, here it is. Here it is. Got it.
6.7 billion real.
Is that real? I just saw
Real,
that
Omani real.
they make as much as 70 million. Well, that's million or billion?
Well,
Wallahi. I could have swore I saw 6.67 billion
so it's
was.
19.7 billion US dollars in yearly
No, you're right.
oil and
That's
gas
real.
revenues.
Jesus Christ. Oman could make 3 times what they make for all of their oil just charging ATM multipass fees with Iran. And here's the best part. Oman doesn't have to do anything. Iran will do all the work for
You know, it's
them.
funny
They'll be
because
the
in the
bad
beginning,
guy.
Iran offered and the Omani goes, "Oh, we want nothing to do with this." And the Iranians were like, "Just have your finance minister do the math and then talk to us again. Call
Oh,
me after you do the math. I know you said no now, but we'll talk about this later." The Omani
that's
goes,
right.
we'll take you up on that.
Hmm. That's
You
right.
would
They'd be
think.
sitting there going, "Oh, you don't want anything? There's nothing I could entice you with? Crystal on stage 5? I mean, just get over here and dance." That's what the Iranians are saying here.
Call me
Okay.
lady.
Now you're talking money. And if you recall, when this war started, this idea was floated about a month into the war, and Oman was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The first person to support it was Donald John Trump.
He's like, I want a joint venture with these countries. He said that openly. He's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we're
he's
gonna
like,
have a
we could
joint
do a
venture.
joint venture, joint profit sharing. And then by the time of the ceasefire, the Omanis are going, wait, we can make how much? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
We'll have our finance minister talk to you guys here real quick.
you can almost hear the Iranians going, you know what a VIP room is, yes? This is a VIP room, free money. Oh,
You know
people will
what's
pay us
also
just to get through the door.
you
Ay,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what guess what happened yesterday before
What's
the day
happened? She's
ended?
thought. Okay, what happened? Hurry up
Trump
so I can get on to Lebanon.
had a diplomatic pivot. He came out and he said he would be honored to meet with the Iranian supreme leader.
We saw that yesterday.
Yes, he
Is
said
there
that
more?
yesterday.
Is there
And
more?
well, he said as long as Iran agrees to 20-year pause in or enrichment of highly enriched uranium. He's like, what is he coming up with? Like,
He's
what's
not
the
getting
20
nothing.
year?
He's not getting nothing.
He's not getting the 20-year highly enriched uranium. That's total BS.
He's not. And with that, that brings me to this stupid statement, which was made. And I'm saying that as an intelligence professional. This statement is indeed dumb. Here's Iran talking about the negotiations and how he doesn't really care about them, and maybe we'll
No,
give
no, no.
Iran another love tap. A love tap. Someone has to come talk to him about oil prices, but let's take a listen. Ceasefire. Pretty much the way it is. Just a different part of the world. I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefires when you're shooting in a more moderate manner. If you didn't hear that, he said, how do you define the ceasefire? He said a ceasefire is when, in that part of the world, is when you're shooting at each other in a more moderate manner. What genius came up with that? Here, let's hear it again. Ceasefire. Pretty much the way it is. Just a different part of the world. I'd say in that part of the world, ceasefires when you're shooting in a more moderate manner. Somebody gave him that line and he thought that was funny. Okay. Somebody gave him that line.
That's not
And we'll
even a
have to
funny
see.
dad joke.
This is not a funny dad joke. Okay, people are dying during this ceasefire. People are dying. And the place that they're dying the most, which is a good transition, is Lebanon. Lebanon, for a country that is in theory supposed to be in a Israel-Lebanese ceasefire, Israel carried out a lot of military operations yesterday. In the city of Tyre, they struck right next to the main hospital, the last operating hospital in the city, injuring 12 people. They have carried out airstrikes and artillery strikes. I'm going to take you up to the map because you need to understand Lebanon is a different country and a different battlefront. I'll keep it up on the simple map first. Whoop. I'm sorry. That was not Google Earth. I'll keep it up on the simple map first so that you can see what it looks like. Here you go. Tyre, Lebanon. Let's take a look at how this is in maps. I have not been to Tyre. I've been to Sidon, off Sidon. Let me rephrase that. Okay. We were there, the fighting was extensive. So here you have the Israel-Lebanon border. About 25 kilometers to the north is the ancient Roman, pre-Roman city of Tyre. That place is ancient. Remember that story I said about Jaffa? How Jaffa was like 4,000 years old as a seaport. Well, Tyre is one of those small seaports that traders would go up around the Lebanese coast, southern Turkey, into the Greek islands, and then on to Rome and places like that. Tyre is famous for that. Mary, mother of Jesus, when she left what was then Judea and Samaria, where do you think the first stop was? Tyre. Everyone stops at Tyre, and often you get a boat at Tyre, and you go up to like Cyprus and then to southern Turkey. But Tyre is right there. Whoop, not where that red dot is, where this thing is sticking out right there. That's Tyre. North of that is the Zaharani River. Oh, let me get you some more. Well, better video. I have no idea why this thing is being naughty today. Let me get the map thing here. And you'll see the city of Sidon. Okay. From the bottom of that map to up here is the city of Sidon. Sidon is, I believe, it's the second or third largest city in Lebanon. I don't know. Maybe Tripoli in the north is larger than Sidon. Somebody take a look at that for me. But it is a major area for Shia and Shia and Muslims and Christians in Lebanon. Israel is threatening everything from here to Beirut, right? Up at the top. Sidon and Tyre comprise 1/3 of Lebanon. As of right now, there are 1 million people that have been displaced from there. Israel has made it clear it is still a free fire zone. So they were fighting yesterday down in the south, particularly near the Hezbollah stronghold of Nebatia. The Israelis did airstrikes and artillery both north and south of the town of Nebatia, and we're just continuing the war as is. Also, Hezbollah, on the other hand, is also still shooting rockets. And most importantly, they almost killed an Israeli general with an FPV drone strike yesterday. He got missed, but he was missed by meters. And that drone did not kill him. It was so significant that the Israeli government says battlefield commanders must have permission from the armed forces headquarters, and it must be a highly tightly controlled mission because a lot of security goes around those generals. And this guy was flying his little drone, saw it, and dropped it right into the middle of them. Hezbollah is getting Ukrainian level proficient at attacking Lebanon with drones. So the fighting still goes on. The ceasefire, here's what Hezbollah referred to the ceasefire and has completely rejected any possibility of ceasefire. They call it surrender under fire because the Israelis want the Lebanese army to disarm them. They want them to remove themselves essentially from the country and the political considerations, which is significant. Hey, if somebody could look it up or watch, maybe you could look it up. What is the percentage of people in Lebanon who are Shia Muslims? Because that tells you how powerful Hezbollah is. We shall see. But this, I'm going to show you some video of Tyre after an Israeli airstrike.
31%.
31%. 1/3 of Lebanon falls under Hezbollah. 1/3. 1 out of 3 people there. So how can you get them? You know, I saw an analysis on Al Jazeera where they were talking to an American professor. And one of the U.S. and Israeli demands is that Hezbollah disarm. And the guy goes, that's impossible. It's impossible. They have been receiving weapons nonstop since 1982 until this year. Nonstop. They have millions, they have thousands and thousands of
They
weapons.
literally have a weapon stash in every household.
Pretty much.
Not like your neighborhood. No, not just neighborhood or militias. No, every household.
Yes, but you cannot Gazify this thing, right? It's just one of those things. Although Hezbollah, lots of weapons. This is a photograph of a Hezbollah weapons cache. They're finding, they find weapons everywhere. It's like Gaza, only if Gaza was 500 times bigger than what it is now. With how many people is 31% of the population of Lebanon? That's like a couple, 3-4 million. We're sorry, we don't have these statistics at our fingertips, but they are significant there. Now I'm going to show you the FPV drone strike that Hezbollah is now carrying out. FPV drone strikes exactly as the Ukrainians and the Russians are doing it. As a matter of fact, this is a video from May 27th of an FPV, of a series of fiber optic. What's that?
That's 1.6, 1.7 million Lebanese people. The Lebanese population, it's 5.3 million.
Okay, so about 1.3 to 1.5 million Hezbollah Shia who are there. Wow, smaller than Gaza, but many times bigger than Gaza. Gaza's 25 kilometers.
Gaza has all of its borders shut down, and the only way they can get stuff is through under the ground tunnels. South Lebanon never had that issue.
No, they just go in the car and they move everything. Okay, this is a Hezbollah video. Full disclosure. The disclaimer is this is not my video. This is what technically Donald Trump avoided by not putting U.S. ground forces really on the ground in Iran. We would have been getting videos like this. This is an FPV drone in its last seconds. Oh, that's right. There's an attack that I forgot to tell you about. But as you can see, the Israeli soldier here is dodging. That FPV drone is going into his armored Humvee into the back. What they try to do is catch soldiers when they're crowded inside. It won't kill anybody, but it will wound people in this attack. Here it is in terminal attack. Oh, shit. This is an Iron Dome missile launcher, the real one. I'm going to show you this because this is significant. Outside of here, I saw this video where it pulled 3 orbits. There is a dummy Iron Dome outside that's made of wood. You can see it. It's not sophisticated and it's not defended behind concrete. This guy found a live Iron Dome and blasted it. This is a logistics base where now, look, they're hunting individual soldiers. This is how the Ukrainians are killing 1,000 soldiers a day in Ukraine. One by one, they hunt Russian soldiers, one by one. And now the Israelis are getting this treatment. This guy looks like he was out to pray. Whoa! That last one was right up the back of an armored personnel carrier. Wow, it's not just an armored personnel carrier. This is a command and control vehicle for a commander, like a brigade commander or something like that. And it goes right into the door. That's how precise this is getting. Trust me, Hezbollah's going to stop firing rockets. All they're going to start doing is flying drones. And they're going to start killing many more Israelis than they could have with suicide bombs and rockets. Chasing a truck, ambulance, logistics vehicle. That's a Dragon Wagon fuel vehicle. This is a I don't remember the name that they call it. It's the Merkava Armored Personnel Carrier. It's taken from the Merkava tank. He ain't gonna damage this thing. All it could do is damage the optics. That is a beast. When I was in Israel, I went inside one in where the hell was I? Rosh Hanikra. Tanks, vehicles, fuel trucks. Bad. That truck's going into flames. Okay? The fact that Hezbollah is telling us about these, but we're not hearing about these. I haven't heard that they blew up a brigade's armored, command post. The only thing I got yesterday that I'm going to add to this is that Hezbollah used an anti-tank guided missile to hit a Merkava main battle tank, and they killed the officer in there. A guy named Captain Lemberg was killed inside there. But this is a lot more hits than anybody's telling us about. Front of a Humvee, Merkava, bulldozer, M113. Whoa! Look at that one. They went after the soldier as he jumps off to escape. This is Ukraine level drone pilotage. There he is right there, jumping off the vehicle. And you see, he turns away from the tank because he's not going to damage the tank. He wants to kill the soldier because that you can't replace. This is pretty intensive for Hezbollah. He backhoes soldiers as they go into a building. You're going to get 2 dead out of that. 1 dead, 1 wounded, easily. Look at this. They fly into the building and are hovering around the building, and they are targeting the individual soldier right there. They're getting proficient. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys are 17, 18, 19 years old. 15-year-olds sitting in the back of a car doing it.
Well,
armored vehicle.
said this at the beginning of the war. Back in the day, Hezbollah and Hamas would send their own actual kids to do these suicide bombs not too long ago.
Openly on
Now they don't even need to do that because they have much easier, much cheaper.
They don't need to do it. The kid could literally sit in his bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
All right? He could be in Tyre. He could be in Nebatia, but he could also equally, depending on the type of drone, right? He could be 20, 30, 40 kilometers away, sitting in a lounge chair right? With a TV in front of him, looking like he's playing a computer game. I want to show you this one. This is one of Hezbollah's greatest hits. This incident was a meter away from being a tragedy. This right here, there's about 10 Israeli soldiers, and this is a medical evacuation helicopter about to take off. And an FPV drone, if you look carefully, right here, there's a circle around it. But this drone is about to miss that helicopter. And I can tell you the reason that he missed. I think I might have mentioned this before. When we were in Ukraine and drones were new, the excitement of getting somebody, you would close your eyes at the last second when you hit the detonator. And that the drone can miss. Now, our guys, I have guys, buying a new computer today for my former International Legion drone team. The Legion has been absorbed into the Ukrainian army, and they need a new $1,200 computer. And they're murdering people out there. They're also intercepting drones. But this is the greatest hit. Watch this. They're going to miss that. This is a group of medical evacuation moving a wounded soldier onto that helicopter as the helicopter is starting to lift off, right?
Violence from above. Now
that's a miss.
Troops increasingly scanning the skies, vulnerable to attack.
This is an example of a drone.
So, Khalas, this is where Lebanon is going. And if I were Hezbollah, I'd say, hey, suicide bomb command has now been dissolved, right? I want all of you young guys, get your yellow scarves, whatever you want on there. We are now creating suicide drone bomb command. By the way, full disclosure, actually, I can, I might even have some photographs in it. Very early on in the war in Ukraine, we were I was part of our battalion's what we called it, drone bomber development team. 2022. So, and we sat around all day dropping bombs, dropping drones to develop our drone hits hold on, I got to move it to back a month. But we had this guy who was British, great guy. He was a drone pilot in Britain. He did commercial drone piloting. And this is in the beginning of drone world. And this guy came into our battalion and he revolutionized things. We called him Mecca, King of Drones. We even had a chair made up and it said across the back, King of Drones. So I really wish I had kept that. And in fact, this photograph is me with a drone that says "suck it." It's not a drone; it's a 40mm grenade. That is Mecca, King of Drones, off to the side there. But what we're doing is, you see this. This is a U.S. 40mm grenade taken from an M203 grenade launcher. And what we have to do is we have to take off the primer on the back and wire it so that when this grenade falls, it has to fall at least 10 meters for it to arm. It has to spin and fall. And we modified these to be dropped from a drone. That, hand grenades, and mortar shells. This was the beginning when the Ukrainians were sending these drone bomber kits to every battalion and go, hey, form a bomber battalion. Start dropping drones. And there's actually that little fin on it is not what we use. We actually made that up out of a tin can, a Coke can, because we needed a fin that would give it a little bit of a spin as it dropped. And we would drop from like 150 meters. And it would spin, and that would arm that 40mm grenade that's on the front of it. That's the oldie days when Grandpa Nance was out bombing things with drones. I was not the drone bomber. The drone bomber was Mecca himself. Actually, what does that one say? By Vatniks love NAFO. So we wrote all sorts of cute stuff on our grenades. So that was super fun. But that is the way it is. Now, these drones are bombs themselves for the last 4 years in Ukraine, flying suicide bomb drones. They can't be jammed because they use fiber optic on it. And now Israel, I heard a report today that Israel is in a total panic and that the Israeli army has created a national crash program to stop and intercept FPV drones. One shows that they're smart. Okay. The Israelis aren't stupid. They're losing men now. And apparently, with all these videos, there are a lot of hits that we're not hearing about. I watch every attack in Lebanon, and I don't hear, oh, we received 17 FPV drones this week. I only hear one or two every couple of weeks when they kill an individual. Oh, Lebanon's going to get hot. It's going to get hot. It's going to stay hot. Wajeeh.
I think that this is just going to encourage the Iranian government to step out of the peace talks even further and further arm Hezbollah. Hezbollah, this is not the first war between Hezbollah and Israel.
Right.
So they have been perfecting these type of tactics for more than 2 decades, as long as I've been alive, for all I know it. Uh, and I have been watching the Hezbollah getting ready to attack, and how the Israel has been stepping in and attacking back. Listen, this drone warfare has changed the equation of the game, whether you're in Ukraine or whether you're in the Middle East. Because even the drones that are using, they're calling it Shaheed, which is what we used to call, or what we call, a martyr after getting killed at battle. And this is very important. Why is it important? Because when a suicide bomber goes and kills himself in order to kill others, we usually call that person a martyr in the old days. Now,
Yep.
the whole idea of that martyr has been step aside away from humans and put into technology. Technology that, we're talking about Shaheed drones is $20,000 to $60,000, but
Right.
these small drones cost $500,
Mhm.
$1,000. They're not even that expensive.
I buy training drones right now. There are companies in Ukraine that are making so many excess drones that they can afford to sell drones overseas. I buy training drones. These are little, they're not FPV drones, they're just little wired drones without controllers, just the drone itself and a basic camera for $300. And I put an extended battery on it. And I also bought from the same company for guys who are training a drone drop kit for training. And, the first thing you want to do is train somebody to drop, not to suicide bomb. So I have FPV drones, I have drop bomb drones, I have a big, what we call B2 aerial bomber drones where we practice dropping small bricks because that's how much a mortar shell would weigh. So these things, it's not just the future. The key thing is what will actually stop them in the future. What will it take to actually stop those drones? Well, we will have to see what it takes. That being said, let's go to questions. We have 100 questions on here.
Wow.
88, not 100, just 88. And I don't want to keep everybody. What day of the week is this?
Thursday, not Friday.
It's what? Friday?
Friday.
Holy
Yep.
cow! We have no days off at Black Man's Spot.
Yeah, we don't.
There's no. We should be. Wajeeh, you should be headed to mosque. Okay, let me see. Somebody, here's the question. I love these comments. We're 10 minutes late. Actually, let me rephrase that. 11 hours and 15 minutes early. And people are like, where's Malcolm? He says, Malcolm, panic attacks abound. Here's another one. Maybe the CIA took him to a black site.
No.
Question, assuming no one shoots, how long would it take for the French-led mission to clear the Straits of Hormuz?
6 to 12 months.
They say, but it could be as simple as a month if they find there really were no mines, right? You got to go through and you got to systematically run your little drones back and forth that map the bottom. And it's a actual mapping survey of not just the bottom, but all the water from the bottom, because the mines that are really bad are the bottom mines, right? Bottom mines, bottom mines look like this. They lay on the seabed. They don't float. They're not like those mines, right? The moored mines that are floating in the water. Bottom mines sit there, right? And then they grow growth on it and dirt on it, and you can't see them, which is why you have to use a specialized mapping radar or sonar to first find the anomaly. Then you can run a metal detecting device over it by remote drones. These are little remote control drones that do that, right? All right. So could take months or 6 months. Ah. The Russian-Iran nuclear deal is an MOU. Does this mean that Russia can't really come through? And is it just a thumb in Trump's eye? And wait for this. I think it's just a piece of paper to give Trump and Russia some leverage in this. Russia wants to make money off of this. One way or the other, they're going to make a load of money off of this. And since America can't seem to sign an MOU for nothing, right? Putin gets this MOU essentially that they're going to help denuclearize or reshuffle the nuclear materials. But let me see. It took me 8:11 to get in through Wajeeh. I was going to try. Somebody was trying to contact you and ask you, where's Malcolm? Okay. Question. The team loves the price of oil because it's sexy. If I'm in your intelligence group, I got a question for you. What is the urea price? Good question. We should really be tracking that. We're going to start tracking that. Urea nitrate, the fertilizer. And as you know, there is not just an oil shock. There is a shock in the global farming industry because we are blocking urea nitrate from coming from the Persian Gulf yourself. Thank you. That was from Shane Granger, right? And Robot Bender says, yeah, urea, sulfur, and nitrogen. Okay.
It's
Somebody
currently
questioned
$416 a ton.
Yeah. Somebody wants Space Cat wants us to do a special show on Lebanon with the history of Lebanon. We'll bring Jacob on board for that. Hey, I started with Lebanon in 1982. That's when I started my activities with Lebanon. My first intelligence operation was I showed you the photograph of me on day one of my career as an actual intelligence collector on a ship off Beirut, 5 miles off of Beirut, Ras Beirut. And within a couple of hours, the largest suicide bombing before 9/11 happened.
Regarding the urea nitrate, the bench price is $416 a ton. The current today price is $928 a ton.
That's double? That's a lot.
More than double.
If you can get it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. We're seeing Malacalypse. He told me how to pronounce that. Says we're seeing a lot of attacks on civilians. Studies show when you kill civilians, you create more enemies, not less. After Gaza and this Iran debacle, I think Israel now has more enemies, not less. So do we get to a point where we can't afford to defend Israel? No, I think we can still defend Israel. Israel needs to be a better friend to us. But
At what political and economic cost, though? For how long?
well, this is a good question. How long? Don't forget, I like that Trump came out and just said something no political analyst would say out loud, but people were writing about that Netanyahu was going to prison, right? Trump attacking the rest of the world, becoming his bestest buddy. He now believes he's keeping Netanyahu out of jail. What does that tell you? Trump admitted something. serious here. Netanyahu, he knows that there's criminality involved in this. Somebody says, Betty wants to know why the CIA discontinued its World Fact Book. It was a useful resource, an awesome resource. I have World Fact Books from the 1970s and 80s. They are good baselines, excellent historical baselines, physical books. You could have gone on the website, and if you want to know an actual fact, you go on the CIA Fact Book.
Yep, I
Crazy
remember.
people are in charge over there, and they just hate everything related to helping people. It's just insane. We are going through what could possibly. I saw there was a interview by you know a of a former CIA officer just retired who said, "Hey, everyone's quitting over there. They just don't want to do this anymore. They have their intelligence turned into lies and everything." Richard
Even
Engel did this interview
even
for
if
MS
like
Now.
a lot of people quit in the CIA, it's not like we get to know that they have quit right away because they have a whole bunch of wait list of people that
Yeah.
are waiting their turn to say, I used to work at the CIA. And
Very true. Okay. All right. Well, I know we were 10 minutes behind, but we have made up for it exactly to the minute. Or let me rephrase that, 11 hours, 45 minutes early. So, we're going to let you get on with your day. And if you still have questions, you can ask your questions down below. Um, inside the day 100. We will be back tomorrow. I'm sure Jacob had a thing to go to. It's Friday morning. He gets a lot of consulting work because, as you know, Denmark is the world's largest shipping companies are in Denmark. Maersk is right downtown, the hotel I stayed at. You could spit down at the corner and hit the headquarters of Maersk. Their risk factor divisions and a lot of other companies that are supporting that. Surprising that the United States tried to piss Denmark off since all of our military shipping, goes through Maersk Shipping Company. So he has things to do. We will be back tomorrow. And you're right. I think we'll do a special program on the history of Lebanon, right?
Mhm.
And I can actually show you a lot of photos. I won't, not a lot, but I can show you a few photos from Beirut in 1983, 1984. But you need to know how it came to the civil war, this Palestinian occupation, displacement of southern Lebanon, the rise of the Lebanese, the Palestinian terrorist groups that caused the Israeli invasion. Now Israel's planning on doing it again, but the people they're trying to invade are Lebanese, not displaced Palestinians from 1948. Very important distinction. And more importantly, the 15, almost 20-year insurgency where Hezbollah kicked Israel's ass. Let's just be honest, right? They fought the Israelis, beat them to the point the Israelis and their allies withdrew. And I think the total number of soldiers killed was like 590 during those operations, and almost 200 of them were combat casualties. That would be like 10,000 dead U.S. soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Based on proportion of the size of the population. So I think we're going to watch your dial. We will all get together to do a Lebanon special with pretty maps. All right? Wajeeh, anything you would like to say before we go?
Um, we are continuing to see more erosions of freedom of speech in this country to please our supreme leader and His Majesty in the White House. 60 Minutes have fired some of its most important
Mm-hmm.
journalists in the last few weeks. Hired, and this type of show that you're watching right now is one of the few things that you can supplement 60
Yeah.
Minutes and supplement these experts that have been spending, all of their time and effort and lives to giving us a piece of information. And this is something I used to watch before I applied for a green card in the United States, before I considered becoming a U.S. citizen or becoming a part of the United States. 60 Minutes opened an honest window into the United States for the rest of the world. I hope that we get to come to a point where we are not worried about our freedom of speech in this country
Mm.
and not worried about our journalism. But in the meantime, please consider becoming a subscriber for Malcolm Nance and subscribe to me or Jacob. It helps us do this full time, so you don't have to do it full time. We give you the best information that we could and the intelligence and expertise.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, Malcolm, for having me.
Okay. All right. With that, if you're watching this on YouTube, you've already missed it, but you might be wanting to watch it at your leisure. You can still do that by becoming a subscriber to malcolmnance.substack.com. You can watch it live. We also post this up on Substack. So for those of you who missed part of it or missed the beginning, you didn't miss anything. We were 11 hours, 45 minutes early. So be sure to go back and see what we were talking about at the beginning. Make sure, by the way, for those of you who have been watching this show since day one, you have gone through the intelligence. What's the phrase that I want to use? Paying your dues process. This is how a watch officer becomes smart. They see and gain the same information over and over and over again for years, to the point where they know when something's wrong, when something is not right, when they were like, oh, Hezbollah hit a tank with an anti-tank guided missile today. And you're like, when's the last time they did that? You hadn't heard about it the previous 100 days, right? So you're like, oh, that's significant. But then I whip out a video showing you 30 Hezbollah attacks. Is that your speaker? Yeah. Yeah. I show you a video showing you 30 Hezbollah attacks that none of us had seen. Then you go, uh-oh, somebody's withholding information. Okay, we should have seen all of those attacks. So this gives you a baseline of information. And you notice you can go from country to country. Israel, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman. And you know what's happening in each one of those countries. So there you go. All right, thanks, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Wajeeh, thank you again. Fi Allah.